People see the wings, but not the weight. They see the moment you soar, the speech, the award, the post that goes viral, but they rarely see the nights you cried quietly over rejection emails, or the meals skipped while chasing deadlines. They don't see the self-doubt that feels louder than applause, or the mornings you almost didn't get out of bed. This is a story about the wait, about a boy who learned that success isn't a mountaintop, but a long walk with blisters. His name is Liam, and this is where his climb begins. Liam grew up in a small town that smelled like rain and hard work. His father ran a garage. His mother taught at the local elementary school. They weren't rich, but they were proud of their calloused hands, their family dinners, their roof that never leaked. Liam dreamed bigger, not because he was ungrateful, but because something inside him kept whispering, "There's more." He wanted to be a filmmaker. He saved every birthday dollar to buy a second-hand camcorder. He made movies with neighborhood kids, cardboard swords, paper capes, sound effects made by mouth. His world was small, but his vision wasn't. His parents smiled at his hobby, but gently reminded him that dreams don't pay bills. He heard them, but he also listened to something louder inside him. So he filmed, he edited, he failed, he tried again. At 17, he sent a short film to a national student festival. He didn't get in, but a judge left a handwritten note. "Keep going, you have heart." It wasn't a trophy, but it was enough. At 19, Liam packed everything he owned into 2 suitcases and moved to the city. It was loud, fast, and didn't care if you had dreams. Rent was brutal. Groceries cost more than he'd expected, and every street corner had someone more talented, or at least more confident. He enrolled in community college and worked nights as a dishwasher. On breaks, he scribbled storyboards on napkins. On weekends, he shot short films on borrowed gear, sometimes bribing actors with free sandwiches. Rejections piled up. For every small success, a film screening, a decent grade, a compliment, there were 5 rejections, ghosted emails, or nights spent questioning everything. But he kept going, because sometimes just showing up was the victory. He started a vlog about the behind-the-scenes chaos of making films on a shoestring budget. At first, no one watched. Then, slowly, people found him. Comments trickled in from other dreamers, from kids who had never dared to try. One message stuck: "You make me believe I can start." He read that line on a night when rent was overdue, and his hands ached from scrubbing pans. And still he smiled, because maybe success wasn't about the spotlight. Maybe it was about lighting someone else's candle in the dark. And maybe, just maybe, he was doing exactly that. The winter of his second year in the city was cruel. The heater in Liam's apartment broke down, and the landlord took weeks to fix it. He wrapped himself in blankets and edited video in gloves, his breath fogging in the air. One night, he slipped on ice walking home from work, badly bruising his wrist. He couldn't film for weeks. For the first time in years, he wondered if it was time to give up. He sat on his tiny couch, staring at his unopened camera bag. A film school classmate had just landed a job on a Netflix show. Another had gone viral. Liam, meanwhile, had frozen dinners and a growing pile of unpaid bills. But just as he reached to close his laptop, ready to log off for good, a message popped up. It was from a high school teacher back home. "Hey Liam, I've been showing your vlogs to my students. They've started making short films for class. Just wanted you to know you're making a difference." That night, he cried, not from pain, but from remembering why he started. he opened his camera bag and filmed a new video titled, "The Struggle is the Story." It didn't go viral, but it reached the right hearts. And from that point on, Liam knew he didn't have to wait for the world to call him successful. He already was. By spring, Liam had found rhythm again. His wrist healed. His vlog grew modestly, but steadily. He'd built a small community of creators who traded advice, encouragement, and late-night messages when edits went wrong or gear broke down. But the struggle wasn't over. When his school cut funding to the media lab, Liam stepped up organizing donation drives, running free workshops, even selling old gear to help keep the program alive. He wasn't just making content anymore. He was building something bigger than himself. A local nonprofit took notice. They invited him to lead a youth filmmaking camp that summer. It didn't pay much, but it felt rich. For 3 weeks, he taught kids who had never held a camera how to frame shots, tell stories, and edit scenes. One afternoon, a shy girl named Rosa showed him her footage of her grandmother cooking and said quietly, "I didn't know our stories mattered until now." Liam went home that night and cried again, not from sadness or exhaustion, but from the quiet joy of purpose. He looked at the mirror and whispered, "You made it," not because he had millions of fans, but because he had meaning. And in the world Liam was building, meaning was everything. Years passed. Liam never became a celebrity, but his work spread slow and steady, like roots growing deep. His students went on to create their own films. His vlog became a go-to archive for aspiring filmmakers. He even published a small book, Start Small, Dream Deep. One evening, he stood on stage at a small community center, surrounded by alumni of his workshops. The walls were lined with film stills. Laughter echoed off the rafters. And in the front row, Rosa held a camera, now a filmmaker in her own right. Liam didn't give a speech that night. Instead, he asked each student to share a moment that made them keep going. When it was over, someone handed him a note. No signature, just a sentence. "Your wings carried more than just you." He folded it carefully and placed it in his pocket. Not all journeys are about reaching the top. Some are about lifting others as you climb. And Liam, he never stopped climbing, because now he wasn't climbing alone. One morning, many years later, Liam sat by the window, watching sunlight filter through the leaves. His old camera, the one that had been with him from the start, rested on the shelf, covered with a light layer of dust, preserved like a treasure. Rosa came to visit, bringing her students along. They laughed and talked, eyes sparkling just like Liam's used to. One shy child asked, "How did you know you'd succeed?" Liam smiled. "I didn't, but I knew I loved what I did. And every time I fell, I got back up. That was success enough." The room fell silent for a few seconds, not because there was nothing to say, but because everyone felt the truth in his words. After everyone left, Liam returned to his desk. He scribbled a few lines, folded them, and placed the note in a small envelope atop his old camera. "To the one who opens this camera after me, tell your story and never be afraid of small dreams." Outside, the world kept spinning, but in that little room, a quiet flame still burned, just like on the very first day. No trophies, no headlines, just faith that what he did mattered, and those wings they're still flying, carrying the dreams of many others. The end.